What kind of chaotic good person has a move called the Blood Temple? Whatever. Let's check the teams. Well, first off, we've got Amiya and Saber, the team we're playing as. They're both kind of headstrong idiots, and it makes them sort of liabilities. We are currently based in Amiya's household, which makes us an easy target. But thanks to Saber's strength and Amiya's plot armor, we might be able to pull through. Next, we have Rean and Archer. They're the closest thing we have to allies right now, which is a good thing considering they're living in our house. But I don't fully trust either of them. They're both kind of surrounded in mystery, and I'm not sure how much I believe that Archer is still injured. Since this alliance has been born, it's been kind of one-sided. We're definitely giving more than we're getting from Rean and Archer. I just hope they start picking up their weight before they betray us. Our most pressing issue right now is the team of Shinji and Ryder. Shinji is an idiot, coward bastard. And sadly, this is what makes him so dangerous. The fact that he is willing to try any ruthless, stupid tactic that he can come up with, regardless of how it will reveal him, expose him, or hurt innocents, means he is the absolute first priority, must be removed from this war. Meanwhile, we have Ilya and Berserker. They're like the opposite of Shinji and Ryder, in that they're smart enough not to get involved in situations that are going to expose them. Hercules is probably the strongest servant we've come across, where Ryder is one of the weakest. And instead of being such a threat that we need to take care of immediately, it's probably in our best interest to save Berserker for last, because they're not endangering civilians, and the longer Berserker is in the match, the longer our alliance with Rean will last. And this is where we start to get into some muddied water. Teams where we don't really know both members. For example, we have Lancer's team here. We don't know Lancer's master quite yet. We suspect, or at least I suspect, that it's someone at the school, because we know there is another master at the school. Now, if it's just a coincidence that Lancer was at the school and that there is another master at the school, it seems unlikely, but it is possible. If I put money down, I'm going on this random teacher guy, because he's got a sprite for no reason, and he looks like an asshole. A dark horse bet on Rean's friends group, specifically the one with the glasses, but still betting on the teacher guy is my number one. Meanwhile, up on the mountains, we've got Assassin and his mystery master. The only other two characters that we know about that are on the mountain are Issei and this witch on the mountain that Shinji and Ryder told us about. Now, this witch on the mountain could be Assassin's master, but it also could be Caster. And Caster and Assassin could have some sort of relationship, and both of their masters could be just complete mysteries. And I say Issei's there, but I find it really unlikely that he's a master. I don't buy it. And finally, we have Caster, which we know fuck all about. We have absolutely no clue or evidence of who or what Caster is. We have no idea who their master is. We have no information on where they're based. If I had to take a wild guess on their masters, the only other two characters who I could see being a master at this point are Kotomine and that random foreigner who I'm not going to forget. I know you're gonna come up again. I know it. You think you got away, you didn't. I know you're something. And that's where we're at. War's really shaping up here. A lot of moving parts. Focus on Shinji right now, but wouldn't be surprised to see some of these pieces move outside of our own view, Oh, sorry, I didn't notice I started the video. Oh, anyway, Night 10, Skyscraper. Amiya is dreaming about his regrets. What else is new? His regrets mostly being this time, not being able to do more at the school. After all, a lot of people got really fucked up, melting skin and all. He just wishes he could have helped them more. I've been kind of biting my tongue about this, but the game's foreshadowing is it's not very subtle. It's a great insult to want to go back and redo things just because I think they're inconvenient and disastrous. It's impossible to take something that has already happened and make it so that it didn't happen. It's impossible, and more importantly, it shouldn't be done. That's why I can't pretend the event didn't happen. Okay, so at this point, there's way too much talk about going back in the past and undoing things for the other two paths to not be time travel related. When Amiya wakes up, he is very sore from his injuries from the previous day, but he is still driven. Amiya is met by Saber in the hallway. They both insist that the other person needs to get their rest. Saber insisting that Amiya needs to rest because of his injuries, and Amiya insisting that Saber needs to rest in order to conserve her energy, because she's going to need it, because Amiya is insistent that they go after Shinji as soon as possible. He is a risk to public safety. Naturally, both of them do not go to rest, and they both go to see Rin. When Amiya tells Rin he wants to go after Shinji, she says, "Cool, what's your plan?" Amiya realizes he doesn't have one. Rin is shocked. Saber, however, is not too worried about not having a plan for Ryder and Shinji. Having already fought them, Saber is sure that she is definitely stronger than Ryder and can beat her in a one-on-one fight. Especially considering Shinji is not a magus and will not be able to help her out at all. The only concern is Ryder's A+ Noble Phantasm, as it could absolutely destroy Saber if it hits. The solution to this is pretty obvious. Just gotta kill Ryder before she can use her Noble Phantasm, or dispose of Shinji. There's also a lot of talk in here about curses and divine protection and the different kinds of servants and Noble Phantasms. It's fine, I'm not worried about it. I know it, I'll let you know it if it becomes important. So, with that settled, Amiya and Saber head off to go look for Shinji and Ryder, while Rin goes to do something else. Apparently involving Berserker. It's not suspicious at all. Actually, no, it's not even suspicious, it's just vague. She's always so vague. What is she doing every day? In our hunt for Shinji, we're going to be looking for places with lots of people, because he's probably going to want to set up his blood temple again to try to build up energy. But before we head into the city to start looking, we head to the obvious place first, the old Chateau Matteau. Saber doesn't sense any other servant, so he's probably not here. And I learned something pretty shocking.
いいのですか、シロ。ここはさくらの家なのでしょう。
Yeah.
立ち寄ったのですから、声をかけては。それぐらいは余裕があると思いますが。
I'm certainly worried about Sakura. According to Sakura was just weakened. He didn't even tell her. Wow! I was sure he would have made her not go to school. He doesn't give a fuck. Fortunately, she didn't have any external wounds. We don't have to change her sprite at all. But if I can, I want to see her and take care of her since she was always taking care of me. But...
やめておく。この戦いが終わるまでは、さくらと会って戦いに巻き込むわけにはいかないからな。
Most of all, I can't go and see Sakura if I am to fight Sakura's brother soon. Worst comes to worst, and I have to kill Shinji. I'll never be able to face her. So I shouldn't leave any lingering affections. I think that the best course I can take, and I also believe it is for Sakura's best as well. So, he was gonna melt his own sister into a pool of blood for what had to be like a relatively minuscule bonus energy, considering how many other people he was gonna absorb. I set really low expectations for this guy, and he just finds new ways to be just unredeemable. We searched multiple buildings throughout the city looking for Shithead, but are unsuccessful. Suddenly, in the middle of our search, Saber drags us to the park. At first, Amiya is confused by this, but it soon becomes clear why.
セイバー、どうしたんだよ。こんなところまでやってきて。ここには何もない。そんなのセイバーにだってわかるだろう。
いいですから、そこのベンチに座ってください。話はその後で聞きます。
Stared down by Saber, I reluctantly sit down on the bench, and then almost faint. I hold my face with one hand. My forehead is sweaty and my breath is out of control. Even though I'm sitting down, hold on. Why am I sweating in the middle of winter?
おかしいな。こんなに疲れてたのか、俺。
As soon as I ask myself that, I finally realize the state of my body. I'm not tired. This is just unhealed wounds aching. Ridiculous. No matter how deep the breaths I take are, I can't catch my breath. My body is heavy and my legs refuse to stand up.
ようやく自分の体に気がついたようですね、シロ。
Amiya insists that, don't worry, Saber. Just give me a second to catch my breath and I'll be ready to search again. This just pisses Saber off as she can't believe that this guy is really just going to, kill himself searching when he clearly needs to rest. Saber's concern for him just goes completely over Amiya's head. As Amiya continues to insist that he does not need to rest, he eventually falls asleep on the bench. It's the same dream as usual, mass burning bodies everywhere, except something about it this time is weird. Amiya remembers in the dream this burning in his chest, but as he suddenly wakes up, he checks his chest and there's no scar there. That never happened. He never got burnt on his chest. If I had to guess, those were the memories of somebody else who died in this field. Considering, we did just fall asleep here. Same exact spot where the tragedy happened 10 years ago. It is at this point that Amiya lets Saber in on the fact that he is connected to the previous Holy Grail War through the destruction that happened in the final battle that took his parents' life and scarred him for life 10 years ago. In return, Saber decides to share with Amiya the basic outline to his starting point of his character arc.
いえ、ただ今朝のことを思い出していました。体の傷を治してからライダーのマスターを探すべきだと言った私に、シローは順番が違うと言いました。
Maybe I said that, but I don't remember the details.
シローは昨日も同じ言葉を口にした。以前から感じてはいましたが、その時に確信したのです。あなたには自分を助けようとする気がないのだと。
As if even stating the fact is a crime. She stares at me and declares so.
あなたは自身より他人を優先している。それは立派ですが、それではあなたはいつかきっと後悔する。シローはもっと自分を大切にするべきだ。
Saber walks past me.
行きましょう。確かにここにいてはあなたに負担をかける。
Saber starts to walk towards the office district. Try to call out to her, but I can't in the end.
何を。
Are you saying? Those words died in my throat. It can't be that I don't intend to save myself. It can't be true, but for some reason I cannot refute her words. Well, with that laid out nice and neatly in front of us, we can get back to searching for Shinji. Search isn't going that well, but luckily for us, this search is mutual. There's always a new effect. A strange feeling pierces my heart. A wave of magical energy that even I can feel. There's no way Saber can't feel that.
シロー、言うまでもないと思うのですが。
I know.
近くにいるのか、セイバ
いいえ、まだそこまでの距離ではないようです。ですが確実に見られている。この魔力は私たちに対する挑発でしょう。
Okay. They're watching us. I'm seeing they finally fell for the decoy. They're emitting magical energy so obviously they must be trying to tempt us.
で、この気配、ライダーなのか。
My mind switches. The awkwardness from before disappears.
魔力をたどります。注意してください、マスター。
I nod silently. The murderous intent stinging my skin is coming from the office district, empty of people. Maybe no one is working overtime today, of all days. Most of the lights in this building, you could call the symbol of Shinto, have already disappeared. Not many people are walking through the roads, and the view isn't that bad. No one looks suspicious, and if Shinji is anywhere, he would be ahead of us, perhaps the park we were just in. The murderous intent is getting stronger. There's no mistake that an enemy is nearby. No, more like... Oh, I feel a chill run down my spine. From the intensity of the murderous intent that even I can feel. Perhaps we are already in the range of the enemy.
セイバ、気をつけろ。何か変だ。
ええ、シローの感覚は正しい。このように人目のある場所で仕掛けてくるとは思いませんが、相手
I
は
don't
相
know.
手です。
Shinji has never...
用心に越したことはありません。
He's pretty much shown he has no fucking interest in subtlety. Nodding silently, we head to the park. I'll ignore the oppressive pressure that feels like having a knife stuck in my neck. Ryder and Shinji are nowhere in the office district. If they are going to attack, it will be in the park where nobody will see.
シロー、
セイバ、
I turn to Saber. She rushes at me like lightning and deflects the attack over my head. I look up. My sight in a large building towering overhead as if to reach the heavens, and clinging to the side like a spider is the figure of the enemy. What? Long hair covering her whole body and flexible white limbs. The figure with the masked face is none other than the servant Ryder. The figure clinging around the 5th floor looks at me and licks her lips. I feel like a freezing chill. There's no mistake. She came down from the top of the building to kill me using my overhead blind spot. Saber lands on the ground. Saber, who jumped above me and deflected the attack, has instantly armed herself.
セイバ、あいつは。
追います。シローはここにいてください。
Oh!
追うって、どうやって。
She kicks the ground. The silver armor disappears from my vision in an instant. If Ryder coming down from the top of the building is ridiculous, so is Saber pursuing her just by jumping. No, perhaps because they are servants, normal logic doesn't apply to them. Like Ryder, Saber kicks the side of the building and charges at Ryder like lightning. The two shadows intersect at great speed. They clash overhead and separate, and then kick off the building and clash again. It's like watching fighting aircraft dogfight. Oh! Alright, let me be honest with you. This decision took an uncomfortable amount of time. And in the end, I'm still not entirely sure why I chose what I chose. The two big pros for staying behind. Number one, Saber told us to. And number two, it would probably keep us, Amiya, safe. Pros for following them are, number one, we are fucking useless if we stay behind. They are going to the roof. We can't even, like, see what's happening if we just stay here. Number 2 is that there's probably a reason Ryder is leading Saber to the roof, so her and Shinji probably have a plan, and I can't counteract that plan, ergo make a decision that would stop it if I'm on the ground floor. If an important decision is going to need to be made during the fight, I have to be a part of the fight to make it. Plus, the meta seems to be kind of leading towards Saber and Amiya having an equal partnership, so staying behind might be punished as like seen as cowardly. But then again, how is Amiya really gonna sway the fight one way or the other? It's hard. I say I'm gonna need to make a decision up there, but I can't really see what it would be. In the end, fuck, I don't know, man, I don't know. I can't just watch. Perhaps because it's a battle with no foothold, Saber is unable to overwhelm Ryder like before. The two conflicts move slowly up towards the rooftop. If Ryder came from the rooftop, chances are Shinji is there. There are 2 conditions to fighting Ryder. Beating Ryder before she has a chance to use her Noble Phantasm, or get Shinji before that. Since Saber is fighting Ryder, there's only one thing I can do. Well, fingers crossed.